Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you a little bit about that post I did on Facebook. Now I know a lot of people have been making comments, a lot of people are interested, a lot of people are curious. But the fact of the matter is, I've been attacked. I've been attacked by someone who is not here in the Philippines, but someone who lives in the US. Somebody who says they live here, somebody who says they have a house here, somebody who says they have a family here, a wife here. But does he really? I don't know. What I do know is the videos he posts. And going with trolls and talking about different trolls, if somebody posts a video or makes a comment about me every now and then, no big deal. But when you dedicate your channel to talking about me, my personal life, lies, talking about things you know nothing about, making up stories. Today is what, September 23rd, 24th? The guy has 16 to 18 videos talking about me. Either I'm on his thumbnail or I'm in the title and I'm mentioned in his video. Is he in love with me? Is he a fanboy? Is he jealous? Why is he doing all this? And the lies he tells. They just go on and on and on. So Janet and I sat down and we decided, let's go talk to our attorney. Our attorney has filed many cyber libel cases. And we talked to him and we got the response that we wanted. They gave us the fee. It's $1,000 US to file a cyber libel case against somebody. Money's not an issue. People think broke expats here in the Philippines. Well, how am I a broke expat? I'm going to tell you something. I'm far from broke. I'm not rich, but I am so far from broke. I have a very successful YouTube channel. Makes some months $4,000 a month, some months $3,000, sometimes $2,000. Depends on how much content I put out. I also had great savings when I came over here. I also have a pension, and I also have Social Security. I have bought land here in the Philippines. Broke expats don't buy land in the Philippines. I have done many things here with my wife. We have traveled all over the Philippines. But the biggest thing I don't do is I really don't gossip about people. I'm not a gossip channel. Now there are gossip channels. Some channels do it very well. You know, my hat's off to people who can do a live stream, 3 times a week or whatever their schedule is. And it's hard to do. And if they mention my name from time to time, so be it, because you have to answer the comments of the people who ask a question. But they don't come out with lies. They don't make up stories, which is very much appreciated. But there is this one guy who lives far away, who has been to Dumaguete. He calls me a friend. Oh, congratulations to the Browns for beating Kansas City the other day. But posting 16 to 18 videos about me, talking about me in your videos, what are you trying to do? You also had some up about Calvin. Trying to get views, trying to get monetized. You're not monetized yet. And I understand the need and the rush and how to get exposure and try to get people to watch your videos and get those watch hours. When I first started doing YouTube, I would do grocery store prices. I would say this is how much a gallon of milk costs, a loaf of bread, an onion, a potato. Janet and I would go shopping and we would come and we would lay out the whole bag of all the items and I would go over each item, what it cost in pesos and what it cost in dollars, just to build the channel. Slowly, organically, not stepping on anybody's toes, just doing it ourselves. And slowly more and more people watched us, and slowly we got monetized, and slowly we made friends here in the Philippines. And I've interviewed many people in the Philippines, but I only interview friends. I really don't interview too many strangers. I did at first. I did interview a couple strangers. They were here in what I call the car wash. They would come into Dumaguete and they would want to get interviewed by Paul, by Mark, by Geo. Maybe they would ask me to interview them. They were trying to build their channel this way. I have decided I don't do that anymore, and I haven't done that in a long, long time. I stay with my own content. I hang out with my friends. I'm 71 years old, and people want to know what kind of visa I'm on. Well, I'm on a 13A permanent visa. I'll show you a picture of the ID card I have a little bit later in the video. But I'm a permanent resident here. I live in Dumaguete. I'm part of the community here in Dumaguete. I give charity here in the Dumaguete area. I don't advertise it. I don't video it. I just do it. That's what I do. My videos are about me and my life and some things that go on here in Dumaguete. You know, just day-to-day stuff. Sometimes some information. Social Security is a big issue with me because when there's a problem with Social Security, I get a lot of emails and messages. Why? Because I'm an old expat. I'm on Social Security and people are looking for answers, and I'm somebody they can ask. Do I give all the best answers? No. If I do a video and I'm misinformed or I give the wrong information, I'm sorry. But it's not intended that way. But back to the cyber crimes. Janet and I are fed up with this person. This person is saying I'm a drunk. I don't drink. I think my whole 3+ years here in the Philippines, and yes, Philly, the ink is dry on my passport. I've had maybe 2 beers total. The first one was my first night in Alona Beach. I'm having dinner and the sun is, up and it's light and it's beautiful, and I take a selfie with me with my beer to send to my friends, my coworkers. People say I have a temper. I fight with people. I don't get in fights with people. I've never been in an altercation with somebody. Never been in an arguing, vocal match with somebody, see who could yell the loudest. I have never had a fist fight here in the Philippines. I can't remember the last fist fight I had in the U.S. What was I, 18 or 20, in high school? Making comments like this where you don't know anything. And you make comments that you know me. This one guy, he met me for 3 minutes. I think it was 2022 at the end of the year or in 2023. I'm at, it's called Gen Z, the former Ground Zero. It hasn't been called Ground Zero in a long time. I was in there with me and Janet, World Zoom, and Mark Thornton. Mark has just finished doing his video with World Zoom, and they were talking a little bit. Mark got up, and this big, heavy guy comes over and says, "Mike, Paul, how are you? My name is so-and-so." And he told me that Paul is coming over to his house to interview him, his wife, and to video his house. Well, I said, that's pretty impressive. And he talked a little bit, 3 minutes, and he was gone. Do I remember the conversation? I do now. I remember those things. But do I remember him? I didn't remember his face. And then he went back to the U.S. and he decided to start a YouTube channel. And back then, 2.5, 3 years ago, he was knocking everybody here in Dumaguete. He was attacking a couple other YouTubers, attacking people, and attacking me about my age gap with Janet. But Mark Thornton, God bless Mark Thornton. Nothing about Mark, but he idolized Mark. And I remember having a conversation with Mark later when Mark was doing a lot of live streams from his house. And I said, you got this big fat guy always commenting on your channel. And Mark told me, oh, that's my fanboy. He really loves me. And we laughed about that and went on to a different topic. But this guy is sitting in his car, which is not his car, which is a company car, I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume he has a job where he drives around at night, because who else would drive around all night and make videos unless you're working out of your car? How many types of jobs where you ride in a car all night long? I can think of a couple. But he sits there and makes videos about me. And he did one video where he said he talked to a former co-worker of mine from Cleveland. Now, I grew up in Cleveland. I was born in the UK, but I grew up in Cleveland. And a former co-worker, somewhere where I worked as a Teamster, 507. That was 1982, where I worked somewhere like that. After that, the job I was doing to earn money didn't have coworkers. I just worked for myself. So if he spoke to a coworker that was a coworker back in 1982, 92, 02, 012, 22, what is that, 40 plus years ago? He reached out and he found a coworker. He said he did a background check on me. He said I've had 3, 5, an unlimited number of failed marriages. Yes, I was divorced more than once. I was married more than once. But I'm here in the Philippines. My life is Mike's Philippine retirement. I talk about my life here in the Philippines. You want to go back to the 1980s, the 1990s, go ahead. But you make up stories. These are lies that you're telling. How can someone defend themselves against lies? And then he says, when I came to the Philippines, I wanted to be next to a high school. Yes, I lived next to a high school. I rented an apartment. Janet and I show it in Dumaguete Rentals as a great place to rent. Other bloggers rent there. Many people rent there. It's a nice place. 18,000 pesos a month, no lease, month to month. It has a swimming pool right on the highway. High school across the street. Elementary school across the street. Gas station across the street. Eateries across the street. But he insinuates, because I have a 40-year age gap with my wife, that's a bad thing. One, it's not 40 years. And two, the person he idolizes as being a great savior of Dumaguete, Mark Thornton. And Mark Thornton and me weren't great friends, but we weren't enemies. We had something in common. We both did YouTube. We did not hang out together. We did not go to dinner together. There's many people here in Dumaguete I don't hang out with or go out with, but they're still associates or acquaintances that we're friendly with. And yes, we had issues with World Zoom was here. So what? But Mark Thornton's age gap was very similar to mine and Janet's. Does that make me the bad guy and this guy is the right guy? I never understood that. I don't understand that coming out of somebody's mouth. If you're going to compare the age gap, and if you think 30-year age gap is bad, then just say the age gap is bad. Why are you picking on me and my age gap? Now, I came here in the Philippines in February, the end of February 22. And in May of 22 is when I met Janet. And I've been with Janet every day since then. I don't have multiple girlfriends. I am not a playboy. People who know me know I am not an active dating person or cheating person, going out trying to meet people, meet different girls everywhere. I'm just a normal guy. I'm 71 years old. And in his video where he talks about sex pats, he brings that up again. He's talking about sex pats and 14-year-old girls getting pregnant. And then he throws my name into the mix. Throws my name in there saying that because I have a 40-year age gap and I like to hang out at high schools. Now, for those of you who've never been to the Philippines, try to get into high school. Big security there. People don't just go walking into the high school. People don't go walking into the schools. They're very protective here of their children. There's plenty of authority around, plenty of security, and it's the safest place, but the parents' responsibility is to get the child to the school, then the school takes care of the child. Where PJ goes to school, an adult, either Janet or I, have to go and pick him up or Janet's sisters go pick him up to take him out of the school. He can't just walk out. And no stranger can actually just walk in. But to insinuate in a sex pat video that I like to hang out at high schools. And also to make all the comments, again, that my marriage is on the rocks. Because I had a failed marriage in the past, that means I'm going to have a failed marriage in the future. I might. Nobody knows what the future holds. But what do you know? You're not here. You're not one of my close friends. You're not somebody I talk to. You mentioned many times about burying a hatchet. What hatchet? Everything's coming from you. You are not a friend of mine. And why are you always asking Janet to be friends on Facebook? Do you want me to share that screenshot? Leave Janet alone. Leave my family alone. Now, if we do a video together and we talk about a certain subject that somebody doesn't like, go for it. If I say something, go ahead, talk about it. I'm sure this video is going to get a lot of reaction. And it should. But this video is being made just for one person. And I want to tell you why I went to cybercrimes. Jan and I, just like we said before, fed up with all the lies, the spreading of rumors, just making stuff up just to talk. Because he has nothing to talk about. He has no content other than talk about somebody else. Talk about the past 5 years ago when he was here in Dumaguete. He's been coming to the Philippines for, how many years? 10 years? What's his longest stay? 2 weeks? And he goes back? The guy has great ideas for content. He built a house here. He married a Filipina. He took her to the U.S. She came back. They built this, by his means, a beautiful house. He has a ton of content to talk about. His grips with having enough money to move here. How much does he think is enough? His battles with, his working, because he can't hold a steady job. Working 60 hours a week. If you see his Facebook, he got a new job just a couple years ago. And he works a lot of overtime. Good for you. Good for you. And stolen valor. Accused me of lying that I was in the service. And you know what evidence he presented of me lying about being in the service? When I talked about getting your DD-214 apostilled, I said also your DD-215. And since he doesn't know what that is, he just assumed I'm lying about everything. A DD-215 is an amendment to the DD-214. And you need to get both of those apostilled if you come here for an SRV. So what does this guy know? He knows nothing. He listens to every video I've ever made. A real fanboy. But I'll let you know, all his videos got a video view of the full video by me the other day. The day Janet and I went down to the cybercrimes unit. Now, how does cybercrimes unit, and why would I want to file, and it's not a lawsuit, why would I want to file criminal charges against someone in the U.S.? Well, there's nothing I can do. I can file the charges. And then when he comes here to the Philippines, chances are he'll be arrested and he'll be booked, and then he can post bail, and then he can start the battle in the legal system if they let you into the country. That's what can happen. But we went down there to the cybercrimes unit. I had to stop and get 4 different flash drives, 128, whatever they are, for memory. And we sat there and we downloaded and preserved the evidence of every video where he talked about me. This took hours and hours and hours. Now, Janet's been sick. But she came with me. We went there right after lunch. Excuse me. And when we got there, you know, I had to fill out some paperwork. I had to show them my passport, show them my permanent residence card. Janet had to show her ID. And the officer, we talked to him. And then he went over to the computer and started to capture each video. Each complete video. So with each video, but documented the channel, the channel name, the name of the video, the date the video was posted, and then also timestamp all direct mentions of me and everything he said about me. Now, there's also direct mentions about Janet in some of his videos. And there's also the nature of the allegations, where we were able to put together in the video his intent. So when he's talking about me in his video, that he's talking about sexpats, perverts who come to the Philippines to take advantage of women who are of less financial means. And then saying, I reached out and found somebody who was 40 years younger than me and took advantage of her. And that I hang out at high schools. What is he insinuating there? That's the crust of my biggest crime against him, is insinuating that I hang out at high schools in this sexpat video. He also goes on in other videos and makes many comments. Marriage on the rocks. I'm back drinking. I have a violent temper. Lying about talking to my former co-workers when I was in Cleveland. You'd had a better chance finding a former co-worker in Las Vegas, where I lived for almost 30 years. There's no way you did that. You're not smart enough to do that. You're just making it up. It's easy to just make up a story and talk about people you don't know. And I don't care about one video. If you do one video, I let that go. It's just one video. But when it's a series of videos, one after another with, but you say Mike's Philippine Retirement. You show my picture. You stole photos out of my Facebook, which are copyright, and put them as the thumbnail. You made it so easy to find all this. And it's a history. It's premeditated. It is just constant harassment and bullying. This is not somebody sitting in their studio in Angeles City or Manila or down here in Dumaguete and talking about a video I made or a post I made on YouTube or a post I made on Facebook. This is the intent, the malice intent of harassing and bullying. Now you say the culture of the Philippines, that you would embrace the culture. Why would you put my wife through all this? By your little lies and you telling these stories one after another, you've given fuel to other people to say things about her. You've given room for people to make comments and say very nasty things about her, saying that she's pregnant by another YouTuber, pregnant by a Canadian guy. Non-stop lies. For those of you who really know Janet, you know that is far, far from the truth. And I'm not worried about my friends, but they see this. This affects Janet. She gets a message. Did you see this? Did you see this? She is so upset and in tears that somebody would do this. No respect. She made a comment in one of your videos and said, why do you do this? You have no respect. But in the very next comment, you know what you said? He's back drinking again. So here's poor Janet. I have thick skin. But here's poor Janet. That you over and over again. Now Janet has resided weeks, months ago to get off of YouTube. She posted it in a video on her channel before she deleted her videos, deleted her channel, Janet's Philippine Life. She said she didn't want to be on YouTube anymore. She does not want to be behind me in the live streams. She helps me with the camera. She helps me with the lighting. She helps with the editing. But she personally does not want to be on YouTube. She does not want me talking about Janet. She has decided we are not going to talk about our personal life. We're not going to talk about if we build a house. We're not going to talk about if we buy another piece of property. We're not going to talk about what we are doing as a family. We will talk about what I do. We will talk about my retirement, issues I have with retirement here, issues I have from the U.S. dealing with my Social Security, calling and verifying that I'm still alive, or how to send a letter, that proof of life. But the reason I'm filing these charges, and people ask, you filing charge against somebody in another country? Well, I do. I filed the charges. I haven't filed them yet, but all the evidence is gathered. The attorney's going to go through everything, and then we'll turn it over to the prosecutor. The prosecutor will take that information and decide if there's a case or not. And if there is a case, then charges will be filed. Now, what happens afterwards? What is my ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal is I've given you weeks and weeks to take your channel down, to take all my videos off. And you said you did because your respect for Janet. Use my name, and you use Janet, and you open that up for the trolls to come in and make comments. And you talk about trolls. You're the troll. Open your friggin' eyes. You're the troll. A troll is somebody who talks about people with no information, no facts, no information that is relevant to anything but rumors and gossip. Now, you might think, oh, Mike's a YouTuber, so he has celebrity status, so we can talk about Mike. Well, I let people talk about Mike. Thank you. I appreciate the advertising. Good advertising, bad. But this has gone above and beyond. This almost reminds me of Expat Trash, where just do one video about it and get it over with and move on. Say your 2 cents worth and move on. But no, this guy, one after another, and then if he sees he got a couple thousand views, oh, I got to do it again. Let me put Mike's picture up again. And the malice to go into my Facebook and steal photographs and put them in your thumbnail. I filed copyright strikes for all of those. People know I file copyright if you use my content without contacting me first. And I'll usually rescind the copyright strike once we either have a conversation or, time goes by. I don't want people to have copyright strikes on their channel where their channel gets taken down because of me. But I will stand up for myself. I will protect my work. If I travel all the way to Cebu, I spend all that money to go to Cebu, I spend all that money on equipment, I buy the person lunch I'm going to do an interview with, and we sit down and we talk and we laugh and we have a good time and we make an interview. I have all this time, effort, and money involved in that video, and you're going to take it and use it for free without posting anything about me, without asking me ahead of time. I will protect myself on copyrights. What I'm doing with this channel is I filed on the channel, not on any individual video, a harassment and bullying complaint. And YouTube sent me back a letter saying they take this matter very serious. It's going to be a number of days before they take action. And then next thing I know, all the videos are down. But once those videos are down, what's the first thing he does? He posts 2 more videos about it with my face on there and my name and talking about Janet. He acts apologetic that it's the troll's fault that Janet's feeling this way. It's the troll's fault that they're making comments to hurt Janet. Well, if you do YouTube, and all you guys know this, you are in control of the comment section. It's like having a wall on the street, and somebody comes by and sprays a very bad word on that wall. Well, it's up to you to clean that wall. And it's the same thing in the comment section. If you leave those comments up, if you leave people making comments, Janet's been impregnated by somebody else. Oh, really? Is your comment, is your response. I did not know that. Not delete it and think to yourself, should I verify that? Now, if I do a video and I say somebody's pregnant by somebody else, well, then you can talk about me saying that. But just because some commenter whose name, we don't know who it is, it's just a handle. These people change their handles all the time. But you're not that. You're in the open. And you have a wife. And you have a daughter. And Janet has a son in school here. And calling me a broke expat. You know, he's in private school. Hired a tutor during the break to help him get ahead a little bit in school. I'm not going to go over things I buy, how I help the family. And don't consider Janet's family a poor family. Janet's family is a tight-knit, very good family. They don't ask for anything. Voluntarily, I give things. When I saw her papa, the TV was broken, and he loved to watch his TV. We bought him a TV set. But this is things I wanted to do. This is not, something that we videoed about. Janet put it on her channel. We talked a little bit about it, the warranty issue with the TV. We ended up buying just a brand new TV for him. Now, her papa died a year ago on the 18th. This is when all these troll shit came out, on the same day of the 1-year anniversary of her father's death. So for you to say the culture of the Philippines, you don't know shit. The culture is being part of the family and helping when you can and just being there. I can't control people lying. People want to lie, they lie. I have much more respect if you say your opinion and say, I really don't know, but I think. Or you make a quick comment to somebody else's question and you answer it the way. I have no problem if you say, I don't like Mike. That Mike had to hang on to old dog's coattails. Well, me and Paul, we're best of buds. We talk almost daily. We have coffee whenever we get a chance. We collaborate on videos. We talk about YouTube. We talk about the financial end of YouTube, how to make a video better. And one of us is down, we just don't feel like doing videos. We encourage the other one. The group of friends I have are more in that 70-year age group. I'm 71. Paul's 70, or 71 too, I guess. And Bud Brown's in the 70s. That's who we hang out with. It's just the way you gravitate to certain people. You have a lot in common. Age, we do YouTube together. What did Mark Thornton used to tell me? He says, we're not friends, but we do have one thing in common. We both do YouTube. Doesn't mean you hate somebody. You can't like everybody. I don't expect everybody to like me. I'm going to guarantee you I don't like everybody. There's a lot of people in this town I don't like. But it doesn't mean I go out and trash them. It doesn't mean when I see them, I don't say hello and smile. It's just I don't invite them over for dinner and I don't invite them out for lunch and they don't invite me. That's just the way the world is. You have friends, you have close friends, you have your close circle, you have acquaintances, and some people you really don't want to run into. But you still deal with life and you don't talk shit about people. And that's what you do. So my goal here is taken this evidence I have, this whole bag full of evidence. I have so many of these, what do you call them, flash drives. They're in the other room. I have the flash drives of the videos, and going down to see the attorney tomorrow. Cybercrime is a criminal offense. It's taken very seriously here in the Philippines. Also, the Privacy Act. You know, in the Philippines here, when you come back and you're in the Philippines, you use my name, you use my picture, that's a violation of the Privacy Act. This is where when you're walking down the street with a camera now and somebody, you can't show people's faces. You have to show people's privacy. And you can't dock people. You can't go out there and say, oh, I have a background report on Mike, and I'm going to, in an upcoming video, I'm going to tell you everything about him. You know, that's a threat. That's a threat. And because I'm not Filipino, they took it serious when I went to cybercrime prevention. They spent the time with me to download all these videos. And my attorney's going to spend a lot of time. So there's going to be a lot of time and money invested in this. This is not a one-off. This is not one guy who's been drinking a little bit and he goes on a 2-minute rave about me, and then he goes on about his business in the casino and his life, and he does 5 or 6, 7 other people, and then he does another one. We know who he is. We know what he's about. Nobody takes him serious. But he does not say he's friends with my wife. He does not say he is my friend. He does not say he buried a hatchet. He does not say that he invited me to his house, where I've spent a total of 3 minutes with this guy. And let's not get into where I did offer the olive branch and said, okay, you're back in the U.S. You want to make a video with me and I'll post it and you'll get some views. And I spent, setting it up, and then all he did was just ramble, and say nothing. Said nothing. It was probably the worst interview I've ever done with somebody, and I threw it away. Now I'll talk to you a little bit about Janet and me. Janet's sick. Janet, like I said, went down there and it rained on us coming back, and she is very sick now because of this running around with this guy. So once Janet's feeling better, Janet wants total nuke, blow it up, everything. She wants us to go after his wife. I told her when the civil suit comes, then we will, because they're husband and wife. Now, the house he owns a house, but the land is owned by the family. Now I need to go and find his name. I don't know his name. I don't know his full name. And then I have to go find where he lives. So the name I did find. It's in your email address. And then I found your wife's name. Now I need to find your address. But I'm not going to walk around that part of the city where, I don't find it safe for me to walk around. I am going to hire an investigator to find where you live and to document your neighbors, that's where you live, that's your house. I'm going to hire someone to do all that. And that will be filed with the police. The police want to know your address. When I filed the report, they wanted my name, my address, a copy of all my identification, and they wanted your name, your address. Well, at the time I didn't have your name, but I have it now. So this afternoon when I'm done with this video, I'm going to go down there and give them your name. And they want your address, but I have to tell them I can't find your address, and I'm going to hire an attorney to go and find your address. I'm not going to spread where you live and all that stuff. That's not me. But for the court documents, they need all this. Because the police, when they downloaded all these videos, they have to verify that they saw it. They have to preserve the evidence. So by you deleting all the videos. It is already too late. Guys, you want to know something about me? Ask me. If you want to have a private interview so you can get some of the facts, ask me. I'll be doing a video with Janet here in the next couple days where she's going to explain, or we will explain, why she doesn't want to be on YouTube. And this is the prime reason she doesn't want to be on YouTube. She's a nice girl. She's a great girl. I've been blessed to have Janet. Now, I know I've been rambling on here for a while, but this is something very important. And this guy has turned our life upside down. Now, if it was just me by myself here, big deal. But I have a family here. I have a 13-year-old son. I have Janet and her family and her extended family who see this. And all my subscribers who hear about this, rumors. Hey, I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor. And I don't want to really mention your channel because I don't want people to go to your channel. But enough people have found it. And other bloggers now, where you talk about them, who are here in Dumaguete, have reached out with their support. I asked them just to file a report if they deem it necessary. I said, watch the video. If it crosses the line, report. If it doesn't, don't. It's your decision, not mine. I'm not asking anybody to report anybody or anything. We'll handle this ourselves. And by God, don't think money is an issue. Now, I've thrown videos away of interviews with people, and it's usually because there's a sound issue, there's a quality, maybe the lighting is terrible, or the person tells me, hey, Mike, I wasn't comfortable with that interview. Can we not do it? And I would just throw them away. So there's a lot of those. So that's nothing new for me to delete a video and interview I do with somebody. That's why I don't do interviews anymore, other than close friends. I like to sit down with somebody who is a real friend and do interviews with them. Now, I've done interviews with acquaintances, Greg and Wilma. I've done interviews with lots of people who are here, Gary and Leah. I did an interview with Gary, and it's okay. But they're not out there making lies and telling stories out of school that they don't know nothing about. This guy says he knows everybody. That when he was here, he had dinner with a prominent YouTuber here that had a big effect on his life. And when I asked that guy, he said he doesn't know him. Never met him. And the list can go on and on and on. He's a name dropper. He talks about people, and he just lies. And I have no recourse but to stop him by any means possible. Because how can you stop someone from lying? You can't. You have to go legal methods. Some people in his comment section say, oh, Mike's not man enough to stand up to. I ain't going to fight somebody. I'm 71 years old. Two things are going to happen there. You're going to beat me up, and people are going to say, oh, you beat up a 71-year-old. Or the worst case is I beat you up, and then a 71-year-old beat you up. So I am not a violent person in that aspect. But I will defend myself and my family. And money is not an issue here. Money is not an issue here. Don't think I'm some poor expat who has no funds, no money, no income. I don't have to work 60 hours a week to retire. I retired as soon as COVID ended. I was gone. I have lots of friends here in the Philippines. Some people have more friends. Doesn't matter. The few I have, I'm happy with. You are definitely not a friend. You are no way welcome into my world. If you think you're going to come back here and one day sit next to me and say, hey, let's bury the hatchet. No. You have devastated my wife. You have brought her to tears. She's a Filipino woman, a good woman, taking care of a son, raising him the right way. Their family has property in Cantilly, very expensive property in Cantilly. They have a very nice house that her father built, and they got a couple other living areas on the property where, you know, sister lives and a brother in Manila stays. You know, it's just a good family, a solid Philippine family, ties to the community. Her cousin is the Barangay captain. Her grandfather used to be the Barangay captain. I'm not sure about her dad, but her grandfather was. It's a very prominent family. So you picked the wrong fight. You're trying to monetize your YouTube channel, and you come after me for why? Because you don't see me ever going back and defending myself against a one-off video. I pick my fights. And when I choose to fight, this is going to be a legal battle. Now, you're in the U.S., not much I can do but to legally handle this. Did I notice when you make your videos you're in uniform? On the job, maybe? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what kind of job you have. I don't know what you do. But you're driving around at night. And you're not a taxi driver because you never have a fare. So the types of jobs somebody could have who drives around at night making videos, not too many of those. This fight is not over. I'm taking this legal action. And once the charges are filed, I will send a copy of that to YouTube to see if it matters to them or not. I am going to go by the terms and conditions of YouTube. I will report things as I see fit. I won't over-report, but I'll report as I see fit, and I will document. And I will spend time and download these videos. I will capture these videos for evidence. I will go back down to Cybercrimes Unit. Check out my Facebook post. That's all I have to say on this matter. Guys, I'll update this later. Until next time.